That is one of the big hurdles right there. Being from a soca island and trying to do dancehall. That's a hard question, right? Because I get up from everywhere, UK, America, Jamaica, everywhere, Barbados. It's hard to answer that question.
What's good, angels? It's your girl, EarthAngel, naturally all up on your good body screen. Sorry, I'm really want for the dance start again. What's good, angels? It's your girl, EarthAngel, naturally all up on your screen. Now, why my husband choose to start him carrying that drive out right at the middle of the intro? You see all this session always I get a fight? But I'm not gonna fight the angels. So let's just start again. Okay, so. I'm stressed. Come with some marks. Come a style. As to the style. When you check out my baby people, check out my husband, yeah, a style, full speed, coming, don't sleep on my baby. And then when he might touch street and I burn up road the whole and I sound a style fan. So check out my husband, yes good. So, what's good, angels? It's your girl EarthAngel, naturally all up on your screen with another episode of DSession. Welcome back to another episode of the session, guys. In this episode, I am going to be taking a real deep look into the Jamaican media and the Jamaican journalism landscape, everything. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it has been a popular topic on several talk shows. It was recently discussed on The Fix, where Cranium shared the fact that he is very displeased with how interviews are being conducted in recent times, and he commended the Fix the Fix the Fix team on how they were really good at building rapport and having a conversation that wasn't so much repetitive and predictable, but it really was on the basis of getting to know him as an artist rather than asking the basic simple questions where everybody asks artists them where you come from, how you get in a music, what do you have coming, and all these boring things. That's why I can't wait for turn up the session this year so that I can reach comfortably enough to start conduct interviews. I'm gonna have a whole heap of people where I come around and I say, yo, when you're ready for start talk to artists and I'm there and I'm ready and I say, good, I say you support my thing. So I'm ready, I'm gonna have my artists them and we're gonna sit down and have a little chit chat and we're gonna drink some nice drinks and we're gonna just reason. And I guess I really want to bring the session this year, so look out for that, guys. Make sure you subscribe so when I actually launch the interviews, you are a part of the show. But before we get into the interviews, I this ready with today. Why it sound like my cat go through the window? Hold on, the angels. Alright, it sound like my cat go through the window. Anyways, I hope the fan not disturbing her too much, but I'm really hot and I can't do this right now. I don't know, I don't understand because it's still winter time. Why the place are hot? I should believe I put more. So yeah, he talked about that and that really got me thinking. And then what really sparked me to be like, I need to discuss this on the session. I need to just take some time out and do a quick episode talking about what we are missing as journalists within the field of entertainment, particularly dancehall, and interviewing these celebrities. Now, I have never conducted an interview before. We have already talked about that. But I do believe that if you're planning to enter into a field, you have to be well ready. You have to already exist within that energy. You get what I'm saying? Just like if, for example, my husband right now, yeah, let's talk about him because I'm in the top of it and I can't bear that thing too hard. But yeah, so when I'm a husband, but coming on my, but anyways, my man, you know where I come from? He is a recording artist. He also does engineering, producing, and he owns a studio. No, he never just get up one morning and decide, say, I'm going to do that and it happen. He has been studying and practicing his crafts for years. So trust and believe on when I tell you, say, if you have got plan for do something in life, you can't wait until you're ready for do it. You actually do it, you have to start from early. And because of that, I have done a lot of research and just really immersing myself into that space. So I think I'm in a pretty good position to have a conversation with you guys about this. Now, I won't have you here for long because it's not that big of a deal. But I think it's important that if we are calling ourselves journalists, if we are calling ourselves entertainment reporters and talk show hosts, as I tend to tell people all the time that I host a show called The Session, so that means I'm a talk show host because I come on a show and I talk. So if we're going to give ourselves these titles, then we need to exhibit the characteristics of these said professions. And that was very very, very disappointed in how Onstage chose to conduct this interview. No, I won't bash Winford because I'm sure that the show probably has reached a point right now where he has not as much control over the type of questions that are asked and all of that. He could have, totalitarian control. That is even a word me probably just made that up, so yeah. But he might have full control over how these interviews are conducted. But I want to give the benefit of the doubt that there were maybe a few other hands in here to say, oh, ask about this, or talk about this, or whatever. Because I don't know, it has gotten so repetitive. No, the question that really got me upset. Let me just give you a backstory in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So last week Saturday, which would have been maybe like the 15th or the 16th of January, Prince Swanny was on stage and he was having an interview with Winford Williams. They were talking over Zoom. Prince Swanny never there in Jamaica. So Prince Swanny was back in Trinidad, his home country, and he was having an interview done on stage. Now, the interview was going on. Prince Swanny didn't really say much because either he didn't understand the questions that were being asked, or he just felt like the questions weren't questions that he needed to elaborate on. And I think there are particular questions that you can ask somebody that forces them to explain themselves or to give you a story. Not everybody is a good conversationalist. Alright guys, and we are back. Never mind the slight change in camera quality and all of that. We had to just switch it up to, deal with some technical difficulties. Why are you doing that? I'm sure you guys are already aware of our, uninvited co-host, my cat, Comet. She's over here enjoying herself. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. So in my opinion, the interview, he didn't really ask questions that would, spark a desire to want to get into depth about the things that they were talking about. So Prince Swanny's responses were very like one-word answers. Yeah, man.
Would you describe your journey?
My journey, different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a different journey. That's all I have to say.
Are not really, he wasn't really asking questions that would really have him expand or explain or to give a story, or like not everybody's a conversationalist. Not everybody is going to jump and talk the things them and get deep and down into them business. Some people, you have to ask them questions in a way, or ask them certain questions that kind of make them want to tell you more, or give you, add some stuff to the story. But he didn't do that. It was very mundane questions like, how long you been doing music, what was it like growing up in the Trinidadian ghetto, because I think Prince Swanny mentioned in answering one of the questions that he grew up in the ghetto and stuff. So he then took that and that became the highlight of the interview. He wanted to know what life was like growing up in the ghetto in Trinidad.
I wouldn't answer that question for really and truly.
Like, it's showed such a lack of research, and I feel so sad to have to say that, because like I said, I have a lot of respect for Onstage, I have a lot of respect for Winford Williams and his team, but it felt like it lacked so much research. Like, you had the opportunity to really introduce what is happening in dancehall in Trinidad, because Prince Swanny is the head of all of that. Like, why you didn't ask him about Z-Tech Records? This is a young man who has a record label that is putting out established artists. You get what I'm doing? That is something that we in Jamaica are just starting to really have become a thing, where it's not just a one camp, everybody have them own a camp and your friend them in their tribe bus, but actually setting up an established label where you put out artists and put money in them and all of that. Like outside Alliance, which was the OGs of it all, then Portmore Empire, then of course Movadi that tried to start it, but it never really worked. Him alone make it all time thing. But we have Unruly now, and of course you see the Six them and Genocide and Idonia thing. So we see a surgence of it more so now. But for Trinidad to be very young in the dancehall game and to already have an artist who is doing these types of things is something to talk about. Like, when they don't ask him about Z-Tech Records, when they don't ask him about Boy and all of the other artists when them have upon the label I work with, you don't ask him about his relationship with Popcorn. Like, this is somebody who has been featured on two popular dancehall track so far with Jamaican dancehall artists. In feature with Javelani and in feature with Skilly Bang. The song with him and Skilly Bang right now is very hot. If you guys have not seen my reaction to that song, please go and check it out. It is banging. But you don't even ask him about that. You don't ask him what it was like working with Skilly Bang. You don't ask him what it was like connecting and working with other Jamaican artists. You don't ask him what the dancehall space is like in Trinidad. You ask him about soca. Everybody knows that Trinidad put out soca already. Why soca even mentioned in the interview? It just felt like, you know, when your grandmother talked to you and she don't really know what going on at the times, so she ask you about some things where don't go on with long time. Like you're asking some questions when nobody not interested in a bro. Nobody no longer cares about what ghetto life is like. I don't get why traditional media in Jamaica seem to perpetuate the same type of ideologies where everybody are trying to mature from. Them keep on talking about sufferation, ghetto life, violence, crime. Alright, I'm gonna take a brief moment for vent a little bit because a whole heap of issues I have when it comes on to interviewing locally. But I'm gonna just focus on that one little piece here for that moment here, right? Asking dancehall artists about staying away from violence. When it's gonna stop? When we're gonna stop remind what artists so we see them as criminals or people who are endorsing criminal activity? When are we going to stop doing that? Every interview you see with the young artists them, particularly on the show that I'm talking about right now, it always become the main topic for talk about make sure your music not endorse violence, and remember only the little youths them a look up to one blah 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 blah. Only really thinking that today day in society the people them where I grew up in a today day I look to Intense for guidance alone. Only think Intense alone dictate how them youth here behave, or Iwater or any of these dancehall artists social media out there now. Them have Lil Durk and Lil Uzi and all of these other Lils in America to influence them. And in my day and age there was Lil Wayne and there was all of the other artists them. Like, I understand that entertainment has a lot to do with influence on our Jamaican youths, but I think we need to stop perpetuating the idea that it is actually real, because we are making it real. Really and truly, we are the ones that are making it real. We are the ones that are making it look like the music is so powerful that you have to be careful, you know, because whatever. I just music, I just entertainment. And if we tell we kids that, then them will believe it too. But we keep on making it look like the music is so hot. So the people then believe it. I hope I haven't lost you. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'm getting emotional, let me calm down. Alright, so I get really emotional right now. I'm gonna really want do that on this session. This is not a vlog, this is not a personal thing, this is a show. So let me just collect myself and just wrap this up, because I'm sure you guys already get the gist of where I'm going. But I took the time out to look at a few persons that I admire in the game. You guys already know that I'm very fond of The Fix and the Fix team, the panel. I love Naro, love Ari, love Javi, and I love how they conduct themselves as journalists and as talk show hosts. I love it. I don't know if they consider themselves talk show hosts, but I do. You get where I'm coming from. They host a show and they talk, so it's a talk show. And I love how they approach it in a type of real way where the artists are human beings. They're people, they have emotions, they have a story to tell. Their music, when we stop listening to music and I ask people, listen, me I watch an interview the other day, because as I tell you know, the way other interview they would bring Swanny upset me, but they really forgot on my catalog and see where Jamaica come from. And I was watching an interview with Ninja Man and Emily Crooks. I don't know if you know about an infamous interview the people, but if you don't want to know how interview for conduct or no watch the interview there, Emily Crooks pull up every song, every lyric and ask him what that did mean, why did you say that, or whatever. That is what the people are doing. They make music. Their art is music. Why you gotta ask them about what in a social media, ask them some mundane things where not have nothing to do with them career. Ask people them about their music. Take the time out and listen to them latest song, and then ask them about that song. Pull a line out of the song where you like and ask them to expound upon it. Try to get inside of the artist's head or inside of the entertainer head. Like, I don't know what's alright, I get eat it again. Bring it down, EarthAngel. You're not that serious, calm down.
Stop it. Get some help.
But check out the interview with Emily Crooks and Ninja Man if you guys have not seen it. I think it's on Television Jamaica YouTube page. I think I did somebody see it, so only can watch that and check it out. But trust and believe when I tell you that interview was amazing. She dealt with herself amazing, even though I feel like she had tried pressing button all heap of time, but based on the climate at the time of that interview, it was necessary because Ninja Man did that one with a bag of things and it involved Adams, and it was just a whole mess. So I understand why she had that demeanor in the interview, and she got a lot out of Ninja Man. And even though Ninja Man is a conversationalist, you don't have to do much for get him for talk, but still her methodology was superb. And I think a lot of us as entertainment reporters, journalists, talk show hosts can take a leaf out of Emily Crooks' book. I think Anthony Miller is a really amazing interviewer as well, and him don't get a lot of credit for it, and we know why. When I get Anthony Miller credit, but it's alright, I'm not getting to that, that is for another video. But he is really good at what he does as well. And Winford is a talented journalist and talk show host, and I don't understand why that interview went like that. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have gone like that. But let me know what you guys thought about it. If you did see the interview, let me know in the comment section down below what are your opinions on what took place there. Also guys, remember to hashtag dancehall global, because that is what we are deal with. Dancehall is global. And the post notification shout out in this week's episode is Les Incentives. Guys do not know who that is, take a look in my comment section below. On my last video, she was the first person to come. Remember guys, subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification bell, and comment down below, and you will be shouted out in the next episode. Alright guys, remember, subscribe to the channel, give my like button some love, and until next time, walk good, all the beautiful people out there in the world. Bye angels.